What's up, guys? Chris from One More Cast. So I just got out here. The sun actually just started to come up as I was parking the truck, and it's definitely gonna be a windy day. It's 12-14 mile an hour wind, somewhere in there, probably a little bit higher gusts. I got a few spots I want to try out to hide from the wind, a few deeper troughs, because the fish are going to be pretty deep right now until later in the day. Later in the day they'll push up on the flat whenever it gets warmer out. But I'm gonna give 2 shout outs today. So first shout out, this company Fish Heel reached out to me on Instagram. They've been seeing a lot of my posts on Instagram, so they messaged me and asked if I wanted to test out one of their shirts. They're a northern apparel company, and this is a shirt they sent me. It's a great shirt. It's comfortable, very comfortable. It's got the thumb holes in it, so I can use this actually when I'm paddling. It's got this hoodie, and in the hoodie it has these drawstrings, so on windy days I can actually tighten it up. And then it also has the built-in buff, so it's a really nice shirt, very comfortable. Also, my buddy Dale, he's been making rods for a little bit, and he actually reached out to me the other day, and he actually made me a custom rod. I thought it was completely awesome of him, and I love the rod. It's awesome. So this is the rod. It's 7'6" medium action. I put my Quantum on it because the rod that my Quantum was on was the action wasn't that great with it, and I feel like I lost a lot of fish because of it. And not only that, it had a broken eye at the top. I was ready for a new rod, so he actually got this to me right in time, because I've been looking at rods now for a little bit, trying to get another rod for my Quantum. But we're gonna get out here today. I've got a paddle tail tied on, I got a jerk shad tied on, and I also got a shrimp tied on. So the power prawn, the artificial shrimp. So we got no bait today. Just gonna go out, try to get done on artificial. I'll see you guys soon. All right, so this guy just yanked it. It's actually a pretty nice sized trout. I'm gonna net him. He actually choked it. It's a pretty, oh. Dang, this guy's jumping all over. All right, get him in the net. It's a pretty big trout right there. All right, so we're gonna let some line out. Okay, this is actually a pretty big trout, but holy cow. Get my hands wet. Hear him drumming. This is a big one. Whoa, this is a nice one. And look, yeah, he choked that power prawn. I don't know if you can, wow, but he choked that power prawn. It's deep in there. That's a beautiful trout. All right, one last look at this trout. This is a nice big one. We're just gonna let him go. These bigger ones usually carry some worms in them, so we're gonna see if he's ready to go. There he goes. I really don't like to keep the really big ones, just in case they do have worms. I don't like to deal with that, but he slammed that bait. He hit it hard. So it's actually first thing I've caught on the power prawn, first fish I've caught on this rod. It's definitely a nice fish. Right there on that power prawn, on that this is a trout eye strike lure. I'm on again. I don't know what this is. Can't tell. Feels like a jack, maybe. Yeah, it's a little jack. Oh, right. Nice little jack. Dang, he choked it too. Let's see, got wrapped up right there. It's wrapped all up right now. Let me get this unwrapped. Snap it off. Wrapped all up. There he is. Okay. Dang. It's a little guy. I don't know how he hit it so hard. How he choked it so much. It's crazy. Well, just gonna let him go. Might go try to fish some docks real quick, and then this wind's really heavy. Might end up having to call it an early day. It's been blowing all morning, but now it's blowing a lot harder. Oh yeah. On the power prawn. He deep throated it too, dang. I understand. Oh, he broke me off. It's the 20-pound. Yeah, I retied. Put another jig head on. He broke me off. It was a small snook, but because I'm using such light fluorocarbon, it actually he ended up fraying me off. So I normally use 30 when I'm fishing for snook, especially around pylons. I just don't have any 30, so throw it back over there, see if we can't get another one to hit it. Since it's not as deep as I thought it was going to be, I put a lighter there. Oh, it's got 8 up. I put a lighter jig head on, that way the shrimp would float more natural. For help keep me out of the grass some. So I put it on an 1/8 ounce trout eye jig head. I did just get bumped over there. There it is. There's another snook. That time it got him right in the lip, so I'm not gonna have any issues with the break off. Right there, that's that Power Prawn Junior. Right there, that's the Power Prawn Junior. Got a little snook on him. And we're gonna let this guy go because he's small. It's not seasoned. Now I'm gonna check my line, make sure it's not frayed. He didn't fray me up at all. So usually if you get a good corner hook set, they won't really fray you up too bad. You don't have to worry about it. So I think having this lighter, jig head is helping, because giving that shrimp more of a realistic look to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some Dr. Juice on it real quick. Put a little bit on it, both sides. Rub it all over. What I do is I rub it all over the bait. Get your hands nasty. Then I rub it up the leader line a little bit. That way, if there was any kind of smells on the leader line, like anything from gas or anything like that, then kind of hides that scent too. Got him. This guy choked it too. Probably have to retie this one. And he's a small one. Well, he didn't choke it that bad. Let's see if I can't get it. It's just the placement of the hook. There we go. Little guy. There it is. Yep, there he is. This power prawn, man. Oh, he let it go. It's okay, he wasn't that big. Might need to loosen my drag up a little bit. Put too much pressure on him. He didn't frame me up. I'm gonna put the power prawn up. I enjoyed throwing it today though. I enjoyed throwing it. I caught, you know, pretty nice sized trout on it. Real nice sized trout. Caught that jack on it. Caught quite a few snook on it. So now I'm just gonna throw this paddle tail out there and see if I can't get anything on that. Now holding this rod versus, oops. Oh, I forgot I loosened the drag. Yeah. There's another snook. Okay. Yeah, it's right in the bottom of the lip. I usually don't like to get them there because that's where I like to hold them. But, little guy. These little guys are all over up there. Oh, he almost came back in the boat. I want to catch something on all three baits. So with that power prawn, there's another one. Oh, okay, he let that go. He was small, so. What's up, guys? So we're gonna end on that. You know, I caught a really nice trout. That trout was actually really nice. That was a really nice trout, and caught that little jack. You know, I missed quite a few snook, caught quite a few snook, so it wasn't that bad of a day. The wind made it really hard this morning. And then it just got even worse throughout the day, so I actually ended up tucking up over here, and you know, I was planned on fishing these docks, but I didn't plan on solely fishing these docks, and that's kind of what I ended up having to doing, is stick to these docks and hide from this wind. I'm actually pulling up to the dock right now. This rod that my buddy Dale made me, I love it. Casts far. I mean, it's got a good hook set. I mean, I just got to get used to. I'm used to working with a softer rod. So I just gotta get used to the way the hook set on it. But I love the rod. It works the bait great. I love the way it feels in my hands, and I love the casting distance on it. So it's a great rod. The shirt, I mean, I loved it all day. It kept me, you know, nice. Kept me nice and out of the sun and stuff. And this hoodie, I love it. So I haven't really used the buff yet, but I rarely use the buffs out here, not unless it's a really hot sunny day. Then I'll use it to cover my face up. But when we get going, I'm gonna load up the kayak, and I'll see you guys next time. What's up, guys? Chris from One More Cast. So I got the kayak unloaded and everything, and got everything rinsed down, so I figured I'd go ahead and do my tackle talk. So today it was very windy. There was a really strong east wind. It was, when I got out there, it was about 14-mile-an-hour winds. I think it got a little bit higher than that as the day progressed on. I tried to stay out of the wind the best I can. I ended up on the docks for the most part of the day. I didn't stay out long. I only stayed out for a little bit, just because, I mean, it was just uncomfortable being out there with that wind being that strong. I didn't have any shrimp with me, so I couldn't have tucked in and try to get any sheephead or anything like that. So I just want to do a tackle talk real quick. So I started out first thing this morning with the paddle tail was I was using an 1/8 ounce grip pin, Mustad grip pin, and I finally got these back in stock, so I went and got some 3-inch diesel minnow Z's. These are my go-to during winter time. Didn't get anything on them pretty much all day until I switched it to the 1/8 ounce Texas eye, because I knew I was going to be fishing a little bit deeper water than what usually I run this whenever I'm fishing a lot shallower water. Once I move into anything that's over 3 feet, I'll usually put the jig head back on. I'll fish the jig head shallow too, but when you're going for like tailing reds or something like that, it glides across the grass. This will still get caught up on some grass sometimes, so this is a lot more weedless than this. So that's why I ended up switching. I actually ended up catching a few snook on it, and I ended up, you know, getting stuff on it. So it definitely worked. I mean, that's my comfort bait right there. So first thing this morning, I had tied on a 1/4 ounce trout eye jig head, just because the Elastec on the Z-Man is very soft. So when a fish bites it, it's real easy to set the hook on it. So I can rig these weedless on that jig head and not have to worry about the gap in the hook. And even the Texas eye, it does have a really big gap hook, but I feel like when I rig these power prawns on there, this is a lot tougher material. It's not that it's tougher, it's just more stiff. So it's not as squishy, so it won't push down the way a Z-Man will. Now I love these baits, they work great, but I decided to do an exposed jig head hook. That's that trout eye. And I did it on the Power Prawn Junior. That's what I had on there this morning. That's what I caught that trout on, that jack on. But then it ended up getting pretty tore up, so I took that off and I put the big Power Prawn on, and then I caught that one snook on it. And when I caught that snook on it, I ended up he got it down pretty deep. It wasn't deep enough to get down in his throat, but it was deep down in his gill plate pretty much. And those snook they'll fray your line, and I was only using 20 or 25 pound fluorocarbon on that one. I'm pretty sure it was 20, because last time I went out, I planned on fishing the flats, and usually when I plan on sticking just to the flats, I'll only put 20 on. When I know I'm gonna fish structure, I'll put 25 or 30 on. But so he broke off. So then what happened was I noticed the docks weren't as deep as I thought they were gonna be at the time. So what I did was I put on an 1/8 ounce. That way, then I put the Power Prawn Junior back on instead of the actual Power Prawn, and it made it look more lifelike with that tide coming in. It was easier. It made it look more of a natural presentation, and that's. I mean, I lost a few snook. I caught quite a bit of snook on that. Now, on my jerk shad, I didn't have any luck on it today. I tried to rig it on a jig head, but once you take a Z-Man off, usually it's hard to rig it back on. Once you put it on, you won't leave it. That's why, like with this one, I didn't take it off. I left it on. That way I can just go through, tie this one back up. So I'll leave this hooked up like this for next time whenever I want to go, and I'll just tie this on like that and use it. Because once you take them off, that's when you start having issues with them staying on, and they won't rig right. They'll start helicoptering, and it's just no good. So, but this is why I normally fish it on when it's shallow. Sometimes I'll put it on an 1/8 ounce hook whenever it's a little bit deeper. I like to use the 4.0 hooks for those though. That's the perfect size hook for those 5-inch jerk shads. For these little minnows, I like to use a 4 works, but a 3 works way better. I can't find the 3s anywhere, so I use the 4. It still works. It's just the 3, you get a little bit more action than the tail. But like I said, it was a short day out on the water. Caught that trout was pretty nice though. That was a really nice. Usually I can usually tell about how big they are just based off looking at them at this point. I've been catching them for so long, and it was probably about 20-21 inches, and it was a pretty nice sized trout. I didn't plan on keeping him, so there's no reason for me to put him on the board. But if I was say estimate 20-21 inches, he was a nice sized trout. So I'm glad I got that on the Power Prawn. I actually got that on my brand new rod that my buddy Dale made for me, and I like that rod a lot. I really do like the rod. It's nice, and it's got a good hook set on it. It's not as sensitive, so I can't feel the bite as well as I can on my pens, but those are a lighter action rod, so they're made to feel every little tap in the rod. So this is definitely going to be a rod for fishing docks and stuff like that. But it was a good day out there, just really windy, you know. It was pretty chilly this morning, and you know, I just got to the point where I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna go in. I didn't want to stay out there that late, so but it was a good day. Caught some fish. I didn't get skunked, so I'll see you guys next time, and remember, there's always time for one more cast.